Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Wednesday devotional from the South Freeport Congregational Church for this June the 8th. I hope that you are all doing well. I have missed seeing you the last couple of Sundays as I have been away having to travel. And once again, I'm coming to you from a hotel room. This week, I am in Fort Worth, Texas. I have been here since Sunday, and I have to tell you, it is miserably hot here. It is pushing 100 degrees every day. The heat index is well over 100. And even though we are all eager for warmer weather in Maine, I'm ready to come back home to the cooler temperatures, and we'll do so on Friday. Well, today I want to address a topic that is at the forefront in the news, and that is the number of shootings, the mass shootings that are happening all over our country right now. 2 weeks ago, I brought you a devotional that focused on a blessing for traveling with someone with small children. At the time that I recorded that devotion, I had not yet seen the news and knew about the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. I have to confess that I do not intentionally watch as much news anymore like I used to because of the news story after news story that really is very little positive that is reflected. It's all negative. And so I temper how much news that I watch. So I want to acknowledge and say that I'm sorry that 2 weeks ago I did not address that school shooting at the time of my devotion. Well, since that time, we have had additional shootings that have taken place around the country, and it grieves my heart. I think for many of us, it makes us cautious about where we go, what we do, always looking and wondering when the next one could possibly be. Today, I want to offer a prayer that was originally written and posted by the United Church of Christ on their website after the shooting in Uvalde. Now, while this prayer is designed specifically for what happened in Uvalde, I believe that for any of the shootings that have happened since that time, this prayer is, of course, applicable. We grieve together with those families whose lives are forever changed, communities that are changed, school children who will now be fearful for going back to school, for those in Buffalo, New York, fearful to go to the grocery store, those that are fearful now to go out and do anything fun in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and all the other places where there have been shootings. I offer this prayer to you, and as I offer this prayer, I can't help but think that so often that our thoughts and prayers do nothing to affect change. At the same time, I do believe in the presence of God that has the ability to comfort, to offer a level of comfort to those that are grieving so tremendously right now. Listen to these words, and again, this is a prayer that is offered by the United Church of Christ, again, after the school shooting in Uvalde, but again, is applicable to any of the shootings that have recently happened. And so we begin with these words of, God, hear our prayer. Hear our prayer for the 14 children now dead, for the teacher now dead, for the parents, family, and friends who will spend the rest of their lives aching every night from the weight of this, for a schoolhouse rendered trauma-laden and grief-stricken in a matter of minutes, whose students will suffer PTSD in the wake of this tragedy, for the caregivers in Uvalde now burdened with the task of managing the shared and collective grief of a traumatized community who love their children. For those who feel the new burden of useless guilt in the aftermath of this, wondering what else they could have done to prevent this. For the nation so in love with our weapons that we continue to tolerate these mass shootings and the grief they inflict without ever building the collective will needed to address it fully. For the world, suffering a massive and collective grief of its own and witnessing acts of cruelty daily too numerous to fully process. Heal our gaping wounds. Restore our sense of compassion. Quiet the restlessness within us. Settle the building righteous anger. Quicken the desire for peace. Remove the chasm that sees race and religion and political persuasion as the marks of a person's worth and value. End the cycle of violence that begets more violence. Silence the voices that broker in fear and division and create the hatred we see mounting everywhere between us. Quiet the troubled soul thinking of grabbing the next gun and ending innocent lives. Empower us all to act now, refusing to wait for the next horror show before we change the laws that make guns and their discharge so accessible. Turn anguish to action, our rage to restoration, our hatred to love, our grief to hope. Let it never happen again, ever. How much more can we bear? Oh Lord, how much more can we endure? Be our rock of refuge. Be our light of inspiration. Be our beacon of hope. Be the arms of love that hold us until the pain recedes. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayers. Truly, Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayers. God bless you and God keep you. And until we meet again, Godspeed.